Hey man, when it comes to compressing vocals, the FabFilter Pro-C2 is easily one of my favorite plugins to use. Let me show you why. What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyProAudio.com. This channel is all about helping you to record and mix better and faster. Now, if you're looking for a full how to use compression video, I'll leave a link to that down in the description, but this ain't it. This is gonna be pointing out some of my favorite features of the FabFilter Pro-C2. You might want to check this out though. All right, so taking a look at this first, let's just go ahead. Let me just play something real quick. I just want to take a look at the interface, right? So before I'm even listening to anything, like I can easily see that this plugin looks different than any other compressor that I've used in the past. For one, the visual feedback that I get looking at this plugin is going to help me to make better decisions, especially when it comes to like setting a threshold. So that's one of my first things that I love about this plugin, is that I can easily set my threshold based on even looking at the waveforms. Now, I don't recommend that you mix with your eyes. I'm not saying that. But when it comes to compression, and obviously compression is one of those topics that us as audio engineers, like sometimes we struggle with this a lot. Being able to set the threshold, which is ultimately the point in which the compressor starts to engage, being able to set that and have some visual feedback, right, to where you can see in the background. I'm gonna just adjust this threshold down pretty drastically, right? And we can see the difference between my original signal and the compressed signal, right? And where the compression is happening. That feedback, and then along with the gain reduction line, this red line at the top showing me literally how that compressor is reacting, that's going to help me a lot when it comes to setting my attack and release times and also setting that threshold. Let's take a listen to this audio that I have here real quick. This is a vocal performance by Lydia Caesar.
He has shown the lights of the town. His smile lifts me up when I'm down. First saw him on a
right, so you can get really extreme compressing, right? But even when I don't go that hard, like let's just hear it like kind of extreme.
He has shown the lights of the town. His smile lifts me up.
Even at that amount of compression, was like almost 20 dB of compression, this compressor still sounds very transparent. I'm not picking up a bunch of like artifacts and pumping on this compressor. I'm gonna show you a couple of other key features that this compressor has that I think makes it really invaluable. So let's just start off. The first thing I'll always do with a compressor is start off setting that threshold.
He has shown the lights of the town. His smile lifts me up when I'm down.
And by the way, I always like to set my threshold to a point to where the quieter parts are getting a little bit of compression, and then whenever she gets a little bit louder, right, then those kind of hit the compression even harder.
He has shown the lights of the town. His smile lifts me up when I'm down.
Now you'll probably notice that the ratio controlled here is grayed out. That's because the style of compressor that I'm using for this vocal just basically gets rid of that ratio control and sets the ratio to be dependent upon the threshold of that you set in the compressor. But there's plenty other styles. I can go with a clean.
He has shown the lights of the town. His smile lifts me up.
But I really like, when I'm working on the vocal, I really like that vocal because that vocal style, because it sounds warmer.
He has shown the lights of the town. His smile lifts me up.
All right, now another one of my favorite features of the Pro-C2 is gonna be the auto gain. The auto gain just makes it super easy when making decisions on your compression, because not only do you do that compression, but then you get that immediate level, like the level is going back up. So here's the thing, when we compress, we're ultimately turning stuff down, right? By having the auto gain, now it automatically makes up whatever gain is lost during the compression, so that I'm hearing the signal back in the mix at the level that I originally set it at, which is giving me really good feedback on how much compression I need and how to adjust the settings of that compressor. Otherwise, it's kind of like a cat and mouse game where I'm gonna be chasing my tail, making changes to the compression, going back to the makeup gain, oh, that didn't sound right, and then going back and forth, right? Auto gain eliminates that because now we don't have a static gain. Obviously, you can turn it off if you want to. I like to keep this on.
He has shown the lights up the town. His smile lifts me up when I'm down.
Another feature that I really like about this plugin is this hold. Now, this is a feature that I'm not used to seeing on compressors, but what it does is it keeps the hold time, it literally holds that release time, so it'll keep the compression going for longer. And this, ultimately, when I notice that when I'm using a little bit of this hold time, it actually makes the compression sound even more transparent. Let's listen to this. I'm gonna turn it all the way up. And you can see how that compressor just kind of sticking. If I use just a little bit of it.
I knew that moment would change my life. I fell in love with the way that he said, baby.
Let's come down here and hit this bypass button. Now this is a click-free bypass. That way you can use it here to like literally listen to your before and after signal. Bypassed.
The lights up the town. His smile lifts me up when I'm down. First saw him on a summer night. I knew that moment would change my life.
That vocal is sitting way better in the mix. Now, here's another interesting thing about this plugin that a lot of other plugins, compressors don't have. It has a mix control. Now, hear me out. Normally the mix goes from 0 to 100. This one you can actually push all the way to 200%. By pushing the mix all the way up to 200%, it's gonna over-exaggerate the compression settings that you have, right? Like making it even more compressed, right? Like doubling the amount of compression. Versus otherwise, if you feel like you went too hard with the compression, you can back that mix down, or in other words, create parallel compression to your mix.
He has shown the lights up the town. His smile lifts me up when I'm down.
Now this other feature here is a little bit different, but the dry signal, what this does is it literally sets the amount of dry uncompressed signal that's going to be coming back in mixed with your compressed signal. So again, this is just another way that you could introduce some parallel compression type effects into your mix. I'm going to try to do this here. I'm going to compress pretty hard, and let's actually turn off the auto gain for this, and I'm going to compress it pretty hard and then bring back some of that dry uncompressed signal.
He has shown the lights up the town. His smile lifts me up when I'm down. First saw him on a summer night. I knew that moment would change my life. I fell in love with the way that he said, baby, baby. He told me that he had traveled from far away.
That's pretty interesting, right? And of course, you got all of the other different styles. And if you don't want to see this display for whatever reason, don't want to mix with your eyes, you can collapse it and just mix with your ears, man. I love this new FabFilter. Actually, it's not new. It's just new to me. I just got it. Don't hate. If you've had it, congratulations. New to me. FabFilter Pro-C2. I think this is a really dope compressor plugin. It's got a lot of advanced features, but even if you're a beginner, it still makes it super easy to get the compression style and sound that you want. I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyProAudio.com. What plugins do you want me to check out next? Leave a comment below, and I'll catch you later. Be dope.